Hello ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Welcome back to For Strategy Gaming. Today I'm going to be commentating a couple of games between EG's Idra and NV's XiaoT. So we can see right here in the bottom left position we do have a XiaoT as the red Protoss, and in the upper right of course here is EG's Idra as the blue Zerg player, and we are on Tal'Daram Altar, and this is going to be a couple of games between these two players. I'm actually not certain how many games are in this series between the two, but we'll be interested to see how it plays out. Of course, EG's Idra, quite popular, quite infamous Zerg player, well known, especially here in the West in terms of Western commentary for StarCraft 2. And then a very strong Protoss player, his opponent here, XiaoT, and it is NV for, I believe it has Clan Nirvana, and XiaoT is basically the translation is little T for little, I believe it was Little Templar or something like that, that he had explained in some interview. But anyways, yes, XiaoT right now moving out with his probe scout and going to be heading on over to the bottom right position. We can see, of course, that he did go for that pylon placement here right outside of his natural, so he will, of course, be going for a forge fast expand. There is certainly no question about that. Taking a look back over here inside of Idra's base, looks like Idra will in fact be starting out here on one base, or is he? Yeah, just going to be starting out here on one base. So there is the extractor coming down, and that pool is going to be coming down very shortly as well. Looks like it's going to be a 14 pool. Obviously, this is the build order, the play style that's going to give you that metabolic boost nice and early on in the game, let you get map control, let you deal with any sort of harassing probes. Now, something that is really important to note as well too is that XiaoT can try for some cannon harass at the expo, so that's something as well that this type of opening by Idra would help deal with. And the fact that he's going for a forge fast expand gives him the opportunity to drop down cannons at the expo to do cannon harass, and that is something that you used to see quite often. It's not quite as prevalent though, because nowadays a lot more Zerg players are in fact opening up with one base play, like we are seeing Idra start things out here today. Idra also moving out right now with his scouting drone, going to be heading clear across the map. Looks like he's going to in fact be going straight to the bottom right position first and foremost. XiaoT realizing that it's going to be a little while until Zerglings actually get to his position. He has no problem dropping that Nexus before his first cannon does get laid down. And there we go. Looks like he is getting ready to drop that cannon next, and there it is. So that one photon cannon, obviously eventually going to want to finish off that wall off, but Zergling's going to have, it's going to be quite some time until the Zerglings actually make it across the map. In fact, as of now, Idra still isn't entirely sure where his opponent is. So XiaoT moving back into the main base, going to come right across these Zerglings, going to want to head back out right now. This is pretty much the last thing he wants to deal with. Doesn't want to get pinned in the corner either. There we go. Cutting it close to the edge of those palm trees, and then going to be heading back home. Now, it's going to be a little bit close. I'm pretty sure he should be able to make it home without actually dying. Idra's still going to keep a few of those Zerglings in pursuit. Hopefully, we see some sort of regeneration for that probe. The drone scout getting denied, but Idra pulling it back just in time with 1 HP. There's a gateway, and then as soon as that finishes off, we should be seeing that Cybernetics core go off at that frontal wall as well. We can see XiaoT coming out with the one assimilator right now, dropping a second gateway, and then looks like that Cybernetics core is going to go right here. Looks like XiaoT is in fact going to go for a full wall off, and would be interested to see if he does try to leave any space. You see either someone try to leave space and come out with that early game zealot, or skipping the early game zealot, leaving no space, and then just destroying a building later down the road, possibly getting rid of this forge. Would probably be the most likely thing we would see XiaoT do. But here's the Cybernetics core, and it looks like that is in fact a full wall off, so he will in fact have to destroy some of these buildings when he eventually does decide to leave the base. Back over here for Idra, Expo is coming up back in his main base. Still got guys on the gas coming out with that Roach Warren, so going to be getting some Roach, canceling the Expo. Idra, wow, very tricky play. You know, we see a lot of cancel Nexuses for some strong early aggression from Protoss players, but it is not every day that you see a Zerg player cancel an Expo and go for that early game aggression. We've got 9 Roaches coming out right now. Now, how is XiaoT going to be able to respond to this? It's really going to come down to his preparation, whether or not he's able to handle this. He does have 2 sentries chrono boosting through right now. He has no idea at this point that that is going on. He has no clue at all that the Expo is canceled. He didn't actually see the Expo get dropped, but I'm pretty sure he is reasonably sure that that is coming. That's pretty much because that is the norm. But Idra right now with the map control, sitting on both towers, he knows at this point that his canceled Expo has not been scouted. And let's just take a look here. Now, what does he have? Xiao does just have those 2 sentries right now. That Warp Gate research just starting, and this is going to be tough for him to deal with. We've got 12 Zerglings coming out already on the board. There are 9 Roaches, so here comes a big strong aggression from Idra. very, very early in the game. This is so interesting. Now, we do have a Stargate coming out. If that gets out and we get a Void Ray in play, if XiaoT can buy himself time to get a Void Ray in play, then that would be, well, it'd be hysterical, because right now there's 0 anti-air for Idra, but here comes the push. Lots of roaches in play right now. The exact count is going to be 9. We've got 20 Zerglings here as well. Force field going down, trying to push him back, but the cannon was dropped. Nice target fire in there by Idra. Idra is now going to start to work on the gateway. Now, what we need to see XiaoT do is just stop those Zerglings from getting into his base, so he needs to have additional wall-offs here, or he needs to keep up those sentry force fields, but I don't think he has enough force fields right now. Dropping down another gateway. There we go. Roach is going to move forward, try target fire down. Going to get that, force the cancellation. We're trying to drop down another gateway. He's just trying to keep this wall up. Roach is going for the forge next. We have a few sentries. There is room for force fields, and we're going to see that come in place. Force field's going to make it. Yes, it does. Force field makes it in time. Idra is going to target fire down the gateway. Hopefully he does. Needs to also go for those cannons. There are a lot of cannons in play. We have 1 Void Ray coming out. Zerglings doing what they can to these buildings right now. Not enough damage. Some very nice force field action here by XiaoT. Idra with whittling reinforcements here when it comes to these roach numbers down to only the 4, and these cannons are definitely going to help a lot. Continue reinforcements, dropping down the forge because he does want a few more cannons. 1 cannon going to start target firing down the remainder, and there are only 2 roaches right now, and Idra's push has been stopped here by XiaoT. Amazingly, he does have the 1 Void Ray in play. Is he coming out with another one? He does have the resources, but no, not quite as of yet. The Warp Gate research, yes, it did manage to finish, and Idra just calling the GG. While Idra opened up with 1 base, fast metabolic boost into an expansion. Idra, however, then did something that you do not see a lot of from Zerg players. He canceled his expansion, giving him the extra resources for a very early aggressive push. This is something you see a lot from Protoss players, but not so much from Zerg. Not realizing that Idra's expansion was canceled, we did see XiaoT pretty much just go about business as usual. With the help of those extra resources from that canceled expansion, Idra was knocking at XiaoT's front door very early in the game with 9 roaches and 18 Zerglings. This is a very strong early game push. However, with some great force field placement and being able to consistently maintain his wall off, XiaoT was able to defend the early game push from that canceled expo of Idra, and as such, he was able to win the game and force the GG from Idra. So there you go, guys. Thank you so much for watching. This was game number 1 in the series between these 2 players. Going to be moving on to the next game in just 1 minute. As always, guys, if you like the content, please do go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Keep watching and keep owning.